What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Beyond the Junkyard podcast. I am your host, Junkyard James, and we are back and later than ever. Just kidding. We are back after a 3-ish week hiatus from the wrestling show. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's NFL draft stream, we went to about pick 20 before we logged off because they were taking their precious damn time making them picks last week. We didn't get the Washington Commanders reaction that we wanted, but we got the guy who's the Commanders fan, and that is Kody Marinara here, back in living color. How are you doing, my friend?
Man, it is. It's good to be back. I feel like this is the first show we've ever done, late as usual. And listen, it's like we never left. But I am doing good. That draft took way too long. I'm surprised my team didn't make any trades. I really expected that to happen, but it didn't. I'm okay with it. I like who we picked. With all that being said, how in the hell are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. There was a stressful and hectic day at my day job today, so I'm glad to be out of the office and able to not have to deal with the crap that I had to deal with today. But that's another story for another show once I no longer work for that company. But no, we are having a grand old time over here in Salisbury, North Kakalaki. And in case y'all forgot the rundown of the show since the time that we've been gone, we're going to open the show with a little bit of history or historical facts about pro wrestling. And we're going to start with, on this day, May 1st, on this day, what happened in wrestling history. My friend, Kody Marinara, it's your time to shine. Let us know what happened on May 1st of wrestling years past.
Well, thank you very much for the introduction, sir. And again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Beyond the Junkyard Wrestling Podcast. Hope y'all are doing great. Hope y'all enjoyed the insanely massive wrestling past 3 weeks we've had between WrestleMania and the news that happened in between. Before we kind of get into that sphere of things and kind of get a catch up of all that happened and our takes of what's been going on, got to have a little bit of the entertaining segments. The happy birthday segments will be following after this, but let's go with the on this day in wrestling history. But first, got to give a big shout out as this segment of the show is sponsored by StubHub. Guys and gals, friends of the show, if you're looking to score tickets to the hottest events in town, StubHub has got you covered. Whether it's a concert, a sports game, or that must-see Broadway show, StubHub is your one-stop shop for live event tickets. With millions of listings, you can easily find the best seats at the best prices. Raw and SmackDown, Dynamite Collision going on. Find tickets on StubHub. Baseball's in full swing. Our Bravos. Been playing a lot better. Couldn't sweep the worst team in the league yesterday, and we're about to probably not sniff 500 again for the rest of the year, as we're about to have a horrible 9-game stretch. But good luck to them. But listen, it's all good. It's okay. NHL Stanley Cup playoffs action is going on as well as the NBA playoffs. The UFL is going on as well. Kentucky Derby is this weekend. NASCAR is in full swing. IndyCar, all sorts of stuff happening. Go to StubHub. It is your one-stop shop for all the live event ticketing needs. Plus, with StubHub's 100% buyer guarantee, you can shop with confidence knowing that your tickets are legit and ready for you to enjoy the experience. So why wait? Don't miss out on the action. Visit StubHub today and get your tickets to unforgettable moments. StubHub, the world's largest ticket marketplace. Use a link in the description for all your sporting events needs. So on this day, on May 1st, in 1998, Well, really wasn't a whole lot going on. I mean, things happened, but nothing really of notable sorts before 1998 that I really thought was that important. So the first real thing of significance that I found was in 1998, where All Japan Pro Wrestling held its biggest show in its history at the Tokyo Dome and drew 58,000 fans for their show in 1998 at the Tokyo Dome. Pretty damn cool. WCW held its Monday Nitro in Birmingham, Alabama, in May 1st of 2000. On May 1st of 2000, where WCW World Champion David Arquette defeated Tank Abbott in a non-title match. If any of you know who Tank Abbott is, and if you saw that, yeah, that's part of a big coffin.
The writing was on the wall from that moment forward.
The cart was in front of the horse. The last calls were much being served. The bankruptcy sign was up. It was closing up shop pretty quickly. On this day, May 1st, 2002, at a Raw taping in Cologne, Germany, we had 3 different hardcore title changes. Tommy Dreamer, Goldust, and Stevie Richards all won the hardcore title on this Raw taping in Germany in 2002. On this day, May 1st, 2003, we got the unfortunate news that Miss Elizabeth had passed away. Obviously, circumstances of happening of what happened, and Lex Luger kind of being with her in that whole time frame. A lot of rumor and innuendo happened. Lex Luger just got inducted to the Hall of Fame a couple weeks ago. He stood up out of his wheelchair. That was awesome. Sucks that his best friend Sting could have inducted him into the Hall of Fame, but I'm sure Stinger was there in some capacity. Nonetheless, sad day that happened when Miss Elizabeth passed away. On this day in 2005, on May the 1st at Backlash, Hurricane and Rosie won the WWE World Tag Team titles from Jamie's favorite tag team, La Resistance. Quick trivia question. What was Rosie's nickname?
The superhero in training, the shit.
Yeah, the shit. There we go. Still probably one of my most favorite catchphrases in wrestling. It was fantastic. They were able to say shit. I don't think they actually said shit, but they had the acronym listed. It was fantastic. On this day, May 1st, 2006, Joey Styles cut a very infamous promo on Raw where he quit. It was a shoot-style promo. It was very, very interesting, where it seemed pretty legit, and I think a lot of people thought it was legit. I'm pretty sure in most parts it was legit, but just a couple months later, that's when ECW kind of started back up and running on a full-time basis, and Joey Styles and Taz, of course, were the commentary duo when ECW was revived for the ECW version of that later that year. Moving on down to 2011, at Extreme Rules, we had 2 different title changes that happened. Christian won the World Heavyweight title, beating Del Rio in a ladder match. That's where Edge, a month beforehand, retired and helped his best friend capture the world title in a match that I think him and Edge definitely made famous in that ladder match, or at least made it more famous. Can't forget Shawn versus Razor at WrestleMania 10 in the ladder match for the IC title. Also on that night, John Cena won the WWE title by beating The Miz and John Morrison in a cage match. Miz and Morrison and Cena on a main event in 2011. Pretty much all you need to know about WWE in that time frame. Moving on down to 2019, the second WWE Worlds Collide took place that featured matches from Raw, SmackDown, NXT UK, and 205 Live. Worlds Collide obviously is going to be happening in June, I believe on the 7th, 18th, something like that. Featuring WWE and AAA, company they just bought out and about to kill. But,
NXT Mexico.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, and then finally that I captured that I thought was noteworthy, the WWE draft was held on this day, May the 1st, 2023. Cody was drafted to Raw. The Bloodline went to SmackDown. Bianca Belair was drafted to SmackDown. Becky Lynch to Raw. Indy Hartwell to Raw. Basically, this all means nothing because the draft is nothing of
useless.
Note. Anyways, and that's all that happened that was of note on this day in wrestling history, May the 1st, presented by StubHub.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, everybody, check out the link in the description box for your StubHub tickets. Use that link. Help support the podcast in that way, shape, and form. Let's move on to the It's Your Birthday segment. It's May 1st. This segment is sponsored by our friends at W Energy. If you're looking for the boost that can keep you sharp without the jitters of some of the other big name brand energy drinks that they provide you, say hello to W Energy. It's packed with clean, transparent ingredients, no sugar, and none of that artificial junk. Just pure, crash-free focus. Whether you're a gamer, you need help staying focused while working, or you have a long day and you need something to help you grind through the day, W's got your back. Use the code Beyond the Yard at checkout. Get 10% off your order at w.gg and level up your energy game today with W Energy. So yeah, let's talk about some birthdays that are today. Happy birthday, first and foremost, to Miss Tiffany Stratton. It is her birthday today, so happy birthday, Miss Tiffany Stratton. I hope you rested up from the beatdown Charlotte Flair gave you in WrestleMania. Shoot or staged. AC Romero turned 35 years old today. I don't know if you know who AC Romero is. He's more of an indie wrestler, but he's wrestled on TNA every now and again. Rossi Ogawa, former boss of, was it Stardom or New Japan, now runs Marigold Wrestling. He turned 68 years old today. But the biggest name that has a birthday today is a name like no other. And all you have to do is one thing. And that thing is...
say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe.
All right, before we get copyright claimed, happy birthday to Joe Hendry. He turns 37 years old today. That's the biggest name of all names. Tomorrow, since we will have a show tomorrow, happy birthday to Mr. Pat McAfee. You get ready to die at the hands of Gunther here in a couple of weeks at Backlash. But we're gonna transition to the next piece, which is probably my favorite part of the show. This show lives off of the chat, so the chat's going to blow up in this piece. It's time for the mid-card meltdown. We've been away for several weeks now, so typically we try to keep this to like 5 to 10 minutes per person. We're going to open this up a little bit longer. I'm going to let you start. You have a lot to say about the stuff that we've been missing. What is some of your biggest takes over the last couple weeks? You got we'll give you 15 or 20 minutes, and then we can have a conversation and kind of see if the chat wants to follow up, and then I'll go, and then we'll hit the end of the show, the main event here at the end here. Floor is yours, my friend.
Man, I mean, I don't know where to start. There's going to be something I'm missing. It's bound to happen. So forgive me for probably missing something. But man, I mean, where do we start? I guess maybe we can kind of go back to, obviously, WWE buying AAA. A lot of controversy regarding that whole sale. I don't really know what else to say about it besides the fact that I feel like there's some backstage stuff that I've seen some people really enjoy it, really like it. Some of the luchas are not thrilled about it, but Conan's running his mouth like usual on social media. So, you can never really truly tell what the hell is happening with him. And now that he's getting a paycheck that's going to be signed by WWE, hey, good luck with that. I don't know how to really take it besides the fact that I think AAA is going to be somehow evolved into NXT Mexico. I don't really know what's going to happen with it. There may have been some more news that has popped out since 2 weeks ago when it was announced, but are they going to only hold stuff in Mexico? Are they going to do U.S. stuff, try to make it global? Like, just a bunch of stuff that I wonder what's going to happen with it. Is it going to be featured on American television at all? Is it just going to be strictly a Mexico television only thing like it had been? Just a lot of stuff that I'm just not sure of and wondering and seeing what's going to happen with that. And then we get to WrestleMania. In my opinion, one of the most lackluster WrestleManias of all time. Night 2 was definitely much better than Night 1, but it still left a little bit of a sour taste in our mouths of the whole Cena Kody match and the lack of Rock and the Travis Scott thing. I have an opinion on that match in just a second, but I will say that for the second year in a row during WrestleMania week, it seemed like WWE felt the need, after acquiring AAA and after having the week of WrestleMania, felt the need that they still had to bring up in some capacity AEW. And I don't really understand why. I feel that whether it's from questions from actual journalists, and that's one thing, I almost feel Nick Khan and WWE are going out of their way to constantly bring them up. And I want to give kudos to Tony Khan, because typically he will respond in typical Tony Khan fashion. And this year, whether it's the people behind the scenes that have helped him out, obviously, hopefully the guy lives and grows. He hasn't rebutted. He hasn't come back with shots at WWE. He hasn't tried to, just bring up anything. He's just focus on AEW, focus on the ship ahead, not trying to play the games like that. Done a phenomenal job with marketing, by the way, between the marketing stuff at the Vegas airport and the airports in general, to taking out full page ads in the UK's most popular newspaper for Forbidden Door and the upcoming Dynamite and Collisions, I believe, in Glasgow. AEW has done a great job with the advertisement and the marketing. It's starting to show a little bit with the attendance. Obviously, they're booking mostly smaller venues. They're filling up. They're looking great. Crowds are good. Last night, they went to an actual arena for the first time in a little bit for a Dynamite, and they outdrew them than the last time they were at the Chartway Arena in Norfolk, which is great. And I think AEW just needing to focus on themselves. And we've said this before. You don't need to go into that WWE trap of trying to play the pissing match of back and forth banter. Focus on your product. Obviously, WWE is number one. They're not going to be tops. They can kind of do whatever they want to, but I feel AEW is at its best when it just let the product do the talking. Don't go on social media. Don't do press conferences. Don't do media calls, and throw that banter back. Just focus on your product, and I feel AEW's done a great job with that. With that being said, we get to the WrestleMania portion of things where, like I said, I felt it was a very lackluster WrestleMania overall. Like I said, Night 2 was much better than Night 1. That triple threat women's match was one of the best women's matches I've ever seen. I don't know if it's the number one, but it's definitely up there. The men's triple threat, Punk, Seth, and Roman, I thought was very, very good. Roman looked the best that I've seen him look, and I want to give a lot of credit to that to Seth and a little bit to Punk as well. But everybody did a great job in both those matches. The Heyman turn I thought was really, really well done. I think it was definitely needed. The Heyman-Roman thing was getting stale. But the swerve of the Punk factor into it was really good as well. Had a bunch of good matches on Night 2, and then we kind of ended with that lackluster of a match with Cena versus Cody. I just don't understand the whole Rock non-involvement with it. I think it was bullshit. I think it was stupid. The ticket sale excuse with the Elimination Chamber that he threw out on Pat McAfee's show, I think the Tuesday after WrestleMania, it was utter bullshit. And just have a really sour taste in my mouth from what Rock was saying, and obviously WWE's in it for more bang than for more of a monetary gain, mostly because of TKO. They only care about making cash, and should be the goal for most people, if not everybody. It's to make cash, to make the most money. But it does make things suffer, and that main event suffered more so because of the non-conclusive stuff from the Rock Cody thing. It's been going on for 2 years now, and we've just gone around in different avenues, and nothing's really making sense and clicking. Travis Scott coming out made sense since he did get involved in Elimination Chamber and he was involved in some capacity with the feud. Him having a 5-minute entrance at WrestleMania, I don't know if it was needed, but it was what it was. But while I was very hot after night 2 and going, this was probably the worst main event I've ever seen of all time, I let 24 hours kind of go by. I watched a little bit of the Raw after Mania. It was definitely a better taste in my mouth after Raw after Mania than night 2 of WrestleMania. But I will say that I feel the same way after letting 24 hours subside and kind of letting me digest that main event, which, by the way, if you haven't heard Dave LaGreca's rant from Busted Open the day after WrestleMania Night 2, it's phenomenal. I laughed my ass off. And for the first time, I really felt that the cast of Busted Open with Tommy Dreamer, Bully Ray, Mark Henry, they were so down on WWE after that show. I still think they were a pro WWE show, but it was very interesting to kind of see their takes on how that happened. However, my thought has changed a little bit from that leaving such a sour taste in my mouth from that Cody Cena match to now I have the same thought process with that match as I did with Moxley versus Cope at Revolution. It was my opinion. I don't know anything, and if stuff has come out and I just haven't read it, somebody in the chat tell me, you tell me. They wanted you to not like that match. They wanted you to hate that match. Cena is a heel, and he wanted to kill wrestling. They're not going to put on a 5-star match. They're not going to do that stuff. Cody was working his ass off to try to make the match good, but I think that's the story that was supposed to be told. Cody was trying his ass off to make the match entertaining and make it good and try to win. Cena didn't give a shit. Cena, it's a new way of trying to be a heel in a way. Instead of doing heel stuff, he's just doing stuff that it's like, wow, this makes no sense. This is ridiculous. I don't get it. I hate it. It's just a different way of being a heel, and it worked. I think that's the goal, and that's the reason why the match suffered and wasn't good. And yeah, it left a sour taste in our mouths on the biggest stage of them all. But I think it was supposed to. I think that's what the goal was. And then us seeing, having now the Orton Cena feud, we've been wanting that. We knew that was going to happen at some point in this retirement last run. It's happening. I do like it. I'm glad it's happening. Got a big stake with it with the world title. Can't go wrong with that. And I believe Backlash is in St. Louis. So that's Randy Orton's hometown, so that's going to be fun. So I'm still intrigued and interested to see where this heel run goes, when it's going to end, how it's going to end, how the title reign ends. It's just setting up to be a very interesting summer. I don't love everything that WWE is doing. I don't love everything AEW is doing. I still prefer AEW over WWE, but I'm very intrigued with where Cena's going with this title reign. I'm very interested to see where it's going to happen in the summer. If he does turn face, how it's going to happen. So yeah, that's, to be honest with you, that's my biggest mid-card meltdown. I know it was a lot of WWE talk. Obviously, we just came off the heels of WrestleMania, so that's kind of going to be the basis of my conversation there. But yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes, and yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. So let me ask you this kind of a follow up. First off, I agree with you. I think that was the design, and you can see that like Cena's idea is he is not there to wrestle anymore. He has to have matches, but he's not going to wrestle in the sense of he's going to put on a even a somewhat decent match. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. Everyone's hyped up about Orton versus Cena, but they have this idea of, you know, Orton and Cena had great matches in the past. It wouldn't shock me if they had like a 2-minute main event where Cena goes out and like cheats, gets himself disqualified, and keeps the belt. Like, that's kind of where Cena is at this point. Now, my my thought process going forward with this is Roman Reigns, to me, wins the Money in the Bank. Like, he's too big a star to not be in the main event picture. And then that leads eventually, especially with the news that rumors that are coming out, that there's still an interest in Roman versus Rock, to where eventually at some point The Rock has to make his way back in. None of the stuff that he is trying to say is the reason behind why he didn't show up at WrestleMania or all that. I think he's just like, you got to remember, he's a heel too. So he's going to say stuff to piss you off just as much as Cena is in the ring. I think we're getting worked. Like, Rock is going to show up at some point. And I think the plan overall is we're going to get Rock and Cena at SummerSlam. Why? Because the last time we had Rock versus Cena was in MetLife. I believe. Tell me if I'm wrong there, but the last time we had Rock versus Cena was at MetLife. And so we're going to do that Rock versus Cena MetLife match again at SummerSlam. It's a 2-night event, and why not have a 2-night spectacle where the second night is Rock versus Cena? Rock wins the belt, and now you have 6 months to get Rock versus Roman and get a story in place where Roman, even if Roman's not the guy in the match, like, it could be Rock versus Kody. If you want to do that, where Roman cashes in and takes the belt off of Rock at WrestleMania. And so that's where my picture is. And then maybe somewhere down the line we get a Rock versus Roman match. It's just they're trying too hard, in my opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong here. They're trying too hard to play a heel, and the story doesn't make sense. That's the part that I don't like. Is that it, like, at least with Mox and Copeland, like, there was some semblance of a story. With this, it's like they're just throwing stuff at the wall. That's where I don't like it.
I think in some ways they definitely have done that. Sorry, I was watching the end of the Senators Maple Leafs game and wanted to see if the Senators were tied up, and they did not. So the Maple Leafs win their series and move on to the second round. I think 3/4 of the Eastern Conference is done. I think all the Western Division or Western Conference teams are still going. Anyways, but yeah, I think definitely there's been some points over the last year and a half of WWE where they just kind of just throwing stuff up against the wall and seeing if it's going to work and stick. I don't know for sure if that's what's going on with the Cena thing, but it does present some interesting stuff to see what will happen with The Rock. If The Rock gets the world title, sets up Rock versus Roman in a great big staked match for next year at WrestleMania. I wouldn't be surprised if Punk wins the Money in the Bank and cashes in on Cena, and he gets the world title. Seth, I mean, the possibilities are there for sure to kind of set up a bunch of different avenues, and that's one good thing I will see is that there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen between Seth, now Braun Breaker, Punk, Cena, Roman, Cody, Drew McIntyre, Priest. They have a lot of big cooks in the kitchen, but unfortunately their mid card is starting to suffer because of that. Now, while the Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania delivered a great match between, with Breaker and Dom, Finn, I forgot who the fourth guy was in that match. Who was the fourth guy in that IC title? Oh, Penta.
Sad how times have gone where we forget Penta's even in a match.
Ray Phoenix had a great WrestleMania debut too, didn't he? So the mid card to me it's got potential for WWE. It's just suffering a little bit right now. I think they just need to find their footing between the U.S. title and the IC title. Good on them to pull the trigger on Jacob Fatu for winning the U.S. title from LA Knight. I think that was deserved, and it's looking like he's going to be the next biggest thing in the Bloodline thing. Although it's interesting to kind of see where McIntyre goes, where Damian Priest goes, where Finn goes, where Penta goes, Rey Fenix, Braun Breaker too, in a way, LA Knight, Logan Paul, AJ Styles. There's a bunch of guys in that mid card to where it's like, all right, what's going to happen? Where are we going? Karrion Kross and that whole AJ Styles thing, that's a little bit interesting to me. That promo that Karrion cut, I believe on Sam Roberts' show, very good, very intriguing. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with that. So there's some stuff brewing, but at the same time, like you said, I do feel, especially in the women's division, we're just throwing shit right now, seeing what's going to work. And I do feel that could definitely happen with the men's side of things, but I think that right now the mid card and the top of the card, depending on which title you're looking at, the Jey Uso thing, where's Gunther go from here? Obviously, he's going to start doing something with McAfee, I guess. What's going to happen with Jey?
So didn't Logan Paul call out Jey Uso?
I think you're right. Which would be interesting. Logan got a big win at WrestleMania over AJ Styles.
And so just for a moment here, like, I think let's just say we get Logan Paul and Jey Uso. Like, the only thing that I can see that leading to is there is a rumor that Logan Paul wants to fight Jake Paul, like if Jake Paul interferes in some way, shape, or form. Like, unless you really want to put the belt on Logan Paul, like, why waste his opportunity? Like, he's already lost a title match to Roman. He's going to lose to Jey Uso as well. Like,
yeah, I don't really know what to say about that besides you're right. But it does set up another interesting point, though, of like there are some guys that are all kind of on the shelf. They're not doing anything. That whole bench comment is a little ridiculous, in my opinion, that they don't bench people. They do. With the Bailey thing, Austin Theory, where's he been? Dakota Kai, I believe, meant something on social media that she's not hurt. She's just waiting. And I understand that you can't put every single person on every single show every single week. Totally understandable. Right. At the same time, some of your bigger guys and gals are on the show, and I feel they should be.
Right. Well, and what makes it even more frustrating is, and again, I don't watch WWE on a weekly basis, but from what I've seen on social media is you have these people that are or were part of big storylines that are getting quote unquote benched, and you're bringing up people from like NXT for just 1 or 2 weeks and then sending them back to NXT where you could, Dakota Kai could easily could have filled that spot that Stephanie Vaquer filled on Monday. Like, but I think in the eyes of WWE is they're testing the waters on does the main roster crowd, because believe it or not, the main roster crowd and the NXT crowd are two different audiences, apparently, from what I understand. And so I think they're testing the water. Are they interested in Stephanie? Are they interested in Roxanne? It seems like Roxanne's gotten the full promotion up to Raw. So I don't know. It'll be fun to watch from afar. I can't commit myself to watching Monday Night Raw or SmackDown every week, but it'll be cool to keep up with from afar.
Yeah, and I guess we'll kind of see what happens here. On a quick side note, did you see the news that took place this afternoon on the AEW side of things? I know we still got to get to your part. I just wanted to, since I just happened to see it on my feed, about a recent hire for AEW.
No, I did not.
So apparently Josh Matthews is now working for AEW. He's been working in the production trucks of late, helping to facilitate between the production team and the coaches and producers. So if that is to be true, hiring Josh Matthews is a great hire for AEW as far from a commentating perspective, a producer side of things, production side of things. Been in the business for 20 plus years now. That would be really, really cool if that is the case, that he's now working for AEW. And by the way, WWE has also abandoned their trademark filing for Edge.
Yeah, I was going to mention, I just saw that too pop up on my feed. So I wonder when Cope comes back if we get Edge heads or Edge and Christian again. That would be kind of cool to see. WWE has also abandoned the trademark for Tribal Chief, though it's still registered, I guess, as like a nickname. They're just not making merchandise with the name Tribal Chief on it anymore, apparently, if I read further. That's interesting. I guess Roman's going through a mini character change as well. But hey, let's go to my part, because I'm gonna turn this away from WWE for a moment, and I want to direct my time towards the AEW fans, especially the ones that were criticizing the booking of Swerve versus Jon Moxley. Because last night on AEW Dynamite, in the main event, Adam Hangman Page won his semifinal match against Kyle Fletcher, which means he fights Will Ospreay at Double or Nothing in the finals of the Owen Hart tournament. The winner of that match at Double or Nothing goes on to the main event of All In Texas. So I told everybody when this happened that you were overreacting, that this was never meant for Swerve to be Swerve's moment, that this was always in the plans, that Swerve was going to get his moment at a later time. And so the story progresses, and Samoa Joe gets a title match, and everyone's like, oh, we're going to get Joe versus Moxley at Double or Nothing. No, we're getting Joe versus Moxley in 2 weeks on Dynamite. Spring break-in? They're making a
Beach Blast, something like that. Something's
Beach Break, that's what it is. Beach Break.
Beach Break,
yeah.
That's it.
In a steel cage match. And obviously Joe's not going to win that match. They wouldn't have the, well, maybe they will, but usually your title doesn't change on your world title doesn't change on free TV unless you're WWE and you have your women's title flop back and forth between a million different wrestlers on free TV. But that's another episode for another night. But so obviously if Joe doesn't win, Mox keeps his belt till Double or Nothing. I think before we get to All In, so we have Double or Nothing in May, and then we have the first couple weeks of June, we have those 4-hour specials. I'm assuming one is Fyter Fest, one is in Portland. They're doing a
Summer Blockbuster.
Summer Blockbuster. 4-hour specials, back-to-back weeks in June. So my thought process, and tell me if I'm overthinking this. Double or Nothing, we get Swerve versus Moxley again for the belt. Now, obviously, the winner of Ospreay and Hangman probably determines the direction for that match. But my assumption is Swerve is getting his rematch with Jon Moxley at Double or Nothing. My thought process is Hangman's going to beat Will Ospreay. I know everybody thinks, oh, this is Ospreay's moment, and I would love for it to be Ospreay's moment. Ospreay has worked his ass off in AEW. He's taken a lot of criticism from WWE fans, and he, quite honestly, is a really big piece of AEW's future. But Swerve is on another level when it comes to just overall reach. And AEW is doing a great part at reaching the fans. If you think back to when they announced AEW's All In Texas, there were two people that were focused very heavily at that introduction. Swerve Strickland and Mercedes Moné. So, Swerve Strickland gets his win over John Moxley. He's going to All In as the champion, and he will fight Hangman Page. I told you they were having another match. They've been teasing Hangman versus Swerve. They've been teasing it for a while, and that's why everybody thought Swerve was going to win in the first place, was because they were teasing this match, Swerve versus Hangman, and we're still going to get that piece. And this is what I had a whole episode on this, a single episode solely right after Dynasty, the day or so after, where I said this is delayed gratification, and whether it's Ospreay or whether it's Swerve, the Death Riders are going to fall apart. They've already lost the trios belt, and so all that they have left is the world title. Well, where does the Young Bucks and where does all this stuff come into play? Well, we'll get that Anarchy in the arena match at one of those 4-hour Dynamites. I don't think that everyone's saying, oh, that's going to be the match at Double or Nothing. No, they're not going to put on an Anarchy in the arena match at Double or Nothing. They're just not going to do it. At Fyter Fest, maybe. At Summer Blockbuster, maybe. But not at Double or Nothing. We'll get that Anarchy in the arena match, or we'll get the Blood and Guts match like we always do in the summer. It's an annual tradition. But I don't know. It just feels like AEW fans, again, Tony Khan has done better here recently at long storytelling, at not giving you what you need or what you want right away to gravitate you into going back. And I got to say, to me, this summer's shaping up to be very fun. We get a couple weeks of build between Ospreay and Hangman. Those are going to be some fun moments there. We got a couple weeks between Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter before Double or Nothing for their side for the women's tournament, the finals there. And Tony Storm is fighting all of these championship eliminator matches every single night. And so we get to see wrestlers like we did last night that we usually don't get to come over. And again, they're not only building towards Double or Nothing, but they're also building storylines towards All In and potentially building possible stories for the pay-per-view after at Forbidden Doors, where we get all of these specialty matches, which, by the way, Bryan Danielson said he might wrestle at Double or Nothing. Or at Forbidden Door. He hasn't said yes or no to it yet. He retired from full-time action, but we may see the American Dragon at Forbidden Door at some point in time. But overall, like, AEW fans, sometimes I think they're more critical on Tony Khan than even the WWE fans are when they don't get their instant wish. And I know everybody wanted Swerve to win, but I told you just had to wait, a month and a half, if that, to get to Double or Nothing. And it seems like we might get Moxley versus Swerve 2 at Double or Nothing, leading to Swerve and Hangman at All In. Now, I've said all of how I felt about buying AAA and all of that mess, so I'll leave the WWE stuff in the past. If you want to listen to my previous single episode, I think I called it Smells Like Russo or something like that. Previous episode, you can check out my thoughts on WrestleMania week. My favorite show of that entire weekend was the Rev Pro High Stakes show in Doncaster, England, where the headliner was Mercedes Moné and Kanji for the Rev Pro British World Women's Championship, which was great. Mercedes Moné fought 2 really good matches WrestleMania weekend. But let's get to our main event. Now, I think it was you who showed me this idea, but Chris Van Fleet posted something on social media the other day called the 7 wrestler theory.
As we're doing this, I need everybody, every one of your sons of bitches that are in the comments watching this. We're going to stir the pot here. We're going to stir the sauce. I'm going to need y'all
This
is an active participation as well. I need you bitches to actually participate in this as we're going through this. It's supposed to be fun. Continue.
Yes, fan engagement would be great. So if you want to comment along who your answer to these questions or to these categories, follow along with us. So the 7 wrestler series. So Chris Van Fleet says there are 7 periods of wrestling that you get at some point in your wrestling career. There's someone that made you fall in love with wrestling. There's a wrestler that's your newest favorite wrestler. Someone that, you just recently started following and enjoy their wrestling. There's one that every time you see him, it makes you smile. There's that comfort wrestler, the wrestler that you can go to at any moment that you need comforting. The wrestler that you missed the most. The wrestler that you'd protect with your entire life. And then the wrestler that you root for the most. We'll go through this. We'll each give our answers to each category at the same time. And then as you're in the chat, maybe we'll discuss those. So here we go. The one wrestler that made you fall in love with wrestling. I'm pretty sure I know your answer.
Before we get to this, I don't know if Chris did this on one of the shows, podcasts. I haven't done my due diligence on the research, but if he has, and I apologize for not giving him the credit on this part, but if not, then I'm going to throw a little bit of a wrench into all this. I'll be 100% honest with you. Even though I sent you this, I don't have all my answers, so this is going to be interesting, and this is going to be even more of a tricky part. You cannot duplicate answers. Let's give that little wrench in there. You have to pick one different wrestlers, and they cannot. Let's say you choose Shawn Michaels for any one of these. You cannot put DX in that.
Ooh,
you cannot put the Rockers. You have to be completely separate. So a little bit of a monkey wrench in there. Just wanted to throw that out.
I like it. Alrighty, so let's get it going. The one wrestler that made you fall in love with wrestling. I have a feeling I know what your answer is, so I'll give my answer first. And I'll let you end it. This came down to 4 wrestlers for me when I was thinking about it. Like, who really made me fall in love with wrestling? I'll give you the four, and then I'll tell you the one that I ended up picking. Because obviously I grew up watching WWE. So Chris Benoit was one of the ones I thought of. Kurt Angle was one that I thought of. You mentioned my favorite tag team a little bit ago, but La Resistance, I really loved them. And as a kid, they really I loved tag team wrestling at that point. But the one I ended up choosing the most, that made me fall in wrestling the most, was Mr. Lie, Cheat, and Steal himself, Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, it's hard to bet against that one. For me, it's obviously Sting. I grew up in the Monday Night Wars era. I grew up being a WCW fan and grew up right when Sting made that transition of Surfer Sting to Crow Sting. I was scared to death of The Undertaker, but loved Sting. How that makes sense, I don't know. Yeah, just his persona, the spooky guy, but also the heroic of saving WCW, the not talking, just I don't know what it was, but everything about that, the face paint probably, just it made me fall in love with wrestling, and it's led me to this love and obsession that has carried me throughout the entirety of my life, unfortunately.
If you want to see Sting, you better get tickets to one of these conferences at some point in time, because he ain't doing any more autograph signings much soon, and he's starting to let the beard grow out. I think he's waiting for Christmas time where he dresses up as Santa Sting.
Listen, I love it. Let's get as many different variations of Sting as we can get. We've now got Grandpa Sting. I want to see Santa Sting later down the year. If we could get Easter Sting one year, that'd be cool. 4th of July, we already have the 4th of July Sting. Yeah, no, I'm all for it. I hate the fact that he chose the one weekend to come to Charlotte that I will not be here. It pisses me off, but I need that manager to somehow book in my WrestleCade so I can go to Winston-Salem in November. If not, I may have to fly to California. Just kidding. But yeah.
All righty. Newest favorite wrestler. This was a hard one for me because I watch a lot of wrestling and I watch a lot of overseas wrestling in my spare time. I love Rev Pro. I love New Japan, Stardom, TJPW. But the one wrestler that I've just recently every time I watch him now, I'm just intrigued by his style is the Jet, Kevin Knight. I just love Kevin Knight. Like before he signed with AEW, I really didn't watch a whole lot of his stuff, but he is fantastic. And the tag team with Speedball Bailey, Jet Speed, I think is what they're calling it. I think that could be a legit tag team if they really wanted it to be. They actually have some pretty decent chemistry together. But I'll go Kevin Knight on this one.
I feel mine's cheap because I'm using the biggest names that they're out there. But ever since I've seen him in New Japan Pro Wrestling and now that he's signed with AEW, I just enjoy everything that he does, from his promos to his matches. I don't think I've seen him have one bad match in his career so far. So yeah, my newest favorite is definitely got to be Ospreay.
You know, with the monkey wrench you threw, that's an interesting one to pick Ospreay in because
it is
pretty decent.
It is.
Well, the one that always makes you smile. This is where I pick Will Ospreay. Because it doesn't matter what he's doing. It's in the ring or like I have a part of a video saved to my phone and I watch it from time to time of Ospreay when they are talking about his favorite snacks and he talks about donuts and he's like high out of his freaking mind. And sometimes when I just need to laugh, I just watch that video because it's the most hilarious thing. It's like a 7-second clip, but Will Ospreay, like he's a really good wrestler. But I don't know, his charisma, his whatever, I don't know. It just, when I watch Ospreay, it makes me smile.
Yeah, this is a tough one, man. There are so many people that you could really put on that list that makes you feel that way. Man. I'm gonna go a little old school on this one. Just because
Midnight Express.
I did. The Shockmaster.
And New Jack.
Yeah, listen, you know what? I mean, hey, from his promos, his segments, his matches, I can go back and watch his stuff in the 90s and 2000s, and he didn't have to be wrestling. He could just be cutting promos. He could be doing vignettes and backstage stuff, and no matter what, it's just always great, and I loved it. One that makes me always smile is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You know who's not smiling at Stone Cold is a lady that got bulldozed by him on his fucking four-wheeler.
Should have been sitting there.
She's going to be the green shirt girl here soon.
She popped out of nowhere just to get a lawsuit.
Right. Just like the one that got hit by the golf cart with Dominic Mysterio in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Your comfort wrestler. This was a tough one for me because there's a lot of wrestlers that I can watch, but there's one in particular that, like, when I need to watch a really good wrestling match, like after WrestleMania weekend, when I needed to watch actual pro wrestling and not whatever the fuck that was in the main event of night 2, you go to Kenny Omega, and he is the personification of what wrestling is. And every match that Kenny Omega puts on usually is a very good match, a very entertaining match. And I could just watch Kenny Omega highlights or matches all day long. In fact, I probably have a playlist of favorite wrestling matches on YouTube, and it's probably either Swerve Strickland or Kenny Omega at this point with modern stuff. So give me Kenny Omega.
My comfort wrestler, and I went with it a little bit differently. So I feel bad for my wife because anytime we go to bed, it's either I'm putting on something wrestling, sports related. A guy named Bob does sports that plays golf. I find it hilarious, and sometimes it helps me sleep. One of the things I usually go back to and just watch the best of, and it's like an 8-hour long thing, and I fall asleep to it, but it's comforting to me that it's not that he's boring and I fall asleep through it. I just enjoy it a lot, and it just comforts me. But not only that, but just if I want to see a really good match, really good ring chemistry, really good promos, really good build-ups, promos, backstage stuff, I go to The Undertaker. Go to The Undertaker.
Happy birthday, Granny.
Hello, Granny. That comforts me.
All right. The one you missed the most. Now, I took this as like a wrestler that died recently and that you missed them the most. But I've seen some people comment on like Chris Van Fleet's post of like wrestlers that are just hurt and they can't wait for them to come back. So I guess you could take it either way. But I put Bray Wyatt because damn, he left us too soon. And he's kind of like Sean Taylor for me. Like every time anything gets mentioned, like it kind of like brings a tear to my eye. So I'm gonna go Bray Wyatt, and I hate the fact that Wyatt 6 is sitting on the shelf. You know, they benched him. But anyways, Bray Wyatt is the one I miss the most.
Yeah, I there's a few different ways you can take that. Whether they're hurt, they had to retire, they're passed away, whatever. I saved this guy for that spot because most of any time I'm watching wrestling, I'm like, man, this guy would have been great to feud with this guy, or just the vignettes and the promos they could have done with that. Just would have been great, would have been gold. Match is incredible. Just this guy, even though I have my favorite, I have the guy I'm rooting for now, this guy has made me feel more than any other wrestler. And while he's not my favorite, and the reason being is just because, listen, he's in my top 5, top 3 probably. This guy's made me feel more than any other wrestler that I've ever watched. He can make me laugh, make me cry, make me happy, make me sad, make me pissed off at him, make me love him. Eddie Guerrero. I miss Eddie Guerrero so much. I remember the 2003 run where he put on some great matches and some great, awesome, funny-ass vignettes with him and Chavo and the Guerreros. And then he turned into this cold-blooded, but this vicious, just bloodthirsty guy that can just rip your heart out with that feud with Chavo in 2004, the Rumble, leading to the world title win at WrestleMania or at No Way Out in 2004, the great match he had with Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 20, and then just his heel run with Ray and Batista, unfortunately, all the way up until his passing. It just makes me miss him every so often. I just be like, man, that would have been a great, especially now with Dominic and Ray, man, that would have been, even if he couldn't wrestle and put on great matches, just that program in general would have been so fun to watch. So don't cry. But yeah, that'd be mine, Mr. Eduardo Guerrero.
All right, the one wrestler you'd protect with your whole life. This is tough, but I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go in this direction here, because this lady receives a lot of hate for, I think, unnecessarily. And I'm gonna go ahead and make this claim. This lady is the greatest women's wrestler of all time, and her name. Well, y'all will know this. I spent $50 on her action figure today. Mercedes Moné. She is the greatest women's wrestler of all time, and it's and it's not necessarily because she is the most popular wrestler or whatnot. I think she's one of the most trusted wrestlers in the business. There's a reason she has 4 title belts right now. There's a reason that she is still as popular today as she was when she was in WWE. And I don't know. Like, out of all the 4 horsewomen, Becky, Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha, or Mercedes, I pick Mercedes Moné every single day. I've loved Mercedes Moné when she was in NXT as Sasha Banks. I think her WrestleMania moment with Bianca Belair was one of the greatest women's matches of all time. And she gets this bad rap as being like super arrogant or super egotistical. And I think that was just the way that WWE framed her, because she was asking for the women's division and the women's tag division specifically to be treated with some respect in WWE. And as you see, the women's tag division still is ass. It still gets like Becky and Lyra win it at WrestleMania just to lose it the next night. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And so, to me, I'm sorry, Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, whatever you want to call her, in my opinion, she is the greatest women's wrestler of all time. And you can take that to the bank, hit it with the bank statement. 1, 2, 3, your turn.
Wow. Way to make a statement there, sir. The wrestler that I protect with my whole life has got to be the guy that, to be honest with you, reignited my passion for wrestling as I kind of went into my early preteen years. Started to transition a little bit from wrestling and sports and things like that. But when I first saw this guy, I'm like, dude, this guy's amazing. This guy, how the hell is he doing this stuff? And from watching him and very, very young in his career all the way to where he is now, I wish to be world champion all day, every day. But I mean, that's not possible. But I have always been a supporter of and have so much enjoyed his work. So I would definitely protect Ellen Jones Styles to make sure that soccer mom hair stays alive.
AJ, I like that. I like that pick. AJ is a very, very good pick for that. Funny enough, you should have been part of the Discord discussion that we had on this other Discord channel that we had. Apparently, AJ Styles is not one of the best wrestlers of all time, because none of the casual fans knew about him in TNA. That was the discussion today that I had.
Casual fans don't even know what TNA is.
Yeah, so
Just saying.
AJ Styles is the one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I'll go ahead and make that claim. The final category. The one wrestler that you root for the most. Well, I had 3 wrestlers written down here, and it was very hard for me to make a pick because I love all 3 of these equally. But your monkey wrench that you threw literally cut 2 of the 3 out. So I can't pick Mercedes Moné here. And I can't pick Will Ospreay here. And so the one that I'm going to pick is the hand-selected member of Brody Lee himself, number 99, Anna Jay. She is one of my favorite wrestlers, and she doesn't get a lot of opportunities in AEW to show her talent, but when she's there, she shows that she has been one of the most improved wrestlers, and I root for Anna Jay. I don't care if she's a heel. I don't care if she's a face. Anna Jay gets a cheer out of me. Who say you, my friend?
So let me just 1 second. I have to get clearance from my boss. Hold on 1 second.
We'll hit this. Samoa Joe apparently would be taken over AJ Styles. I like Samoa Joe. But they led TNA's popularity there. That's a good pick.
All right. Shut up, my turn.
All right.
Please don't hurt me. All right, so I got clearance from the boss, so we're good. It's like Deal or No Deal. She's the banker and have to make, she gives me offers, and if I say no deal, I may get killed. But I give her offers, and I have to make sure she takes the deal, so that way, anyways. It's like whammy as well. If you hit the whammy, you get shit on. But luckily, she's a good person. She's a great person. So the one I'm rooting for the most is Harley Cameron. I don't even know if she's done any sort of wrestling before AEW. I know that she debuted with that QTV stuff. It was made to look like a slut. I think that was the TMZ remake type of thing that they did. Stupid, but she tried to make it work. And then she just transitioned into outsider, third party, and the outcast, and trained, got better in the ring, still getting better in the ring. And along the way, we have found out that she can do other things, like being a ventriloquist. She can speak different languages. She can apparently play guitar. I think there's like 15 other things she can do that she's mentioned on a video. I don't remember them all, but she is a sports entertainer that does wrestling. And I give her so much kudos for saying, you know what? I didn't come from a wrestling background. I came from either other sports or other whatever, acting, whatever. And apply those to wrestling, but also learn the craft and learn to love wrestling, learn to enjoy it, learn to get better, and has improved so much in the ring, but it's also improved as a character. And I remember her, obviously, the push she got against Mercedes for Grand Slam Australia, had that TBS title match, lost it, had the crowd obviously behind her because she was from Australia. But then I watched the after the match promo that she delivered, where she cried her eyes out, but really said, you know what? I've learned to actually really love this business and respect it and give it my everything. And she's like, I'm so happy. I'm so excited for what the future holds, this and that. So it's awesome to see that while, even though she didn't come from a diehard wrestling fan, which I think she liked it, but she just that wasn't her first thing she wanted to do. She learned to love it. She learned to respect it. She learned to hone her craft as far as being a better wrestler and to train constantly, but to put those entertainment aspects into it as well, to create this character that's just wild and unpredictable and funny. similar to Tony Storm in some ways, but Tony Storm is a whole different character. That woman is entertaining as hell as well. And it's great that happened in AEW and not WWE. But like if this was Vince McMahon, even maybe Triple H or Shawn Michaels, I feel that they would be like, man, if we could pluck Harley Cameron out and just put her on TV, they would be fine with it. They would love it. And she didn't have to win any belts. She could just be on TV, do something funny with the ventriloquist doll, have a match, cut a funny promo, whatever the case may be. You're not so much like looking forward to watching her wrestle like you would maybe an Ospreay or Samoa Joe or something like that, or a Mercedes or a Tony Storm. You're looking at it from, oh God, what is Harley going to say this week, or what's going to happen this week with her ventriloquism? Is she going to do a rap or a song? So I'm rooting for her to see what happens. Whether it's, it would be cool if she won a title. I think that pop would actually be really, really cool. But I'm just rooting for her to see, if she can get a little bit better in the ring, mold her craft a little bit better, see what kind of performer she becomes in the wrestling sphere of things. I think WWE would be coming and knocking on her door with the Brinks truck backed up to her front door and say, listen, you can be in movies, you can be in TV shows, you can do wrestling, you can do all sorts of stuff. We have the opportunity here for you. But I hope Tony Khan obviously sees that she does have a lot of traits and qualities that fit perfectly for AEW. And so, yeah, I would hope that happens down the road. I think there's a lot of other people you can put on that list.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I think
pick.
If I had to put a guy on that list, Nick Wayne.
Ricochet. Ooh. Oh.
Nick Wayne. I'm rooting for the guy. I think that he just needs to get bigger built. He's got to develop a better character. But I'm rooting for that guy too. Let's see what happens.
It's a big honor to be added to the Best of the Super Juniors. So
no kidding.
I think that'll really help him out too with just learning the different styles of wrestling there. So yeah, I like Nick Wayne. A little fun fact about Harley Cameron. That ventriloquist doll, the Mercedes Moné doll, Mercedes was the one that told her to do it because I guess apparently at some point she found out that Harley was a ventriloquist, and she was the one that okayed for it to take place during their feud. So Mercedes Moné is probably a big piece in Harley being over with some of the fans. And AEW is really missing out on selling the ventriloquist doll replicas on the AEW store because I think those will sell very quick.
That as well as those hologram masks.
Oh yeah, Harley Graham. That was a great piece for Harley Quinn.
No, I said hologram, not hologram, but I know what you mean.
Oh, not Harley Graham.
No,
hologram. Hologram is now a tag team with former ROH television champion Commander. But yeah, guys, that's what we got for today's show. We're making the push towards All In. We're just what is it? 3 weeks away from Double or Nothing. We'll get back to kind of regular programming next week, kind of recapping Dynamite and maybe adding a few little fun pieces like we did tonight. Let us know what you think about in the comments. Follow on social media at Junkyard MG on X. Follow the YouTube channel, subscribe. If you listen to the audio version, give us a 5-star review. I haven't had to say that since I worked in the storage industry, but give us a 5-star review and let us know what you like about the show, what you don't like about the show. Leave a comment. If you have wrestling friends that aren't super casual, are kind of sickos and enjoy this kind of stuff, share this video around. Let's build a community. Go to junkyardmediagroup.com, join the Discord there, Shop the merch stores. Use the links in the description for our affiliate partners. And until next week, y'all. We haven't said this in a few weeks. Mr. Marinara, can you say the final words?
It's been a while, and I hope that y'all enjoyed the Final Four. I hope y'all enjoyed WrestleMania. I hope y'all enjoyed Dynasty. Starting to move into the warmer months, and I don't know about y'all, but I really enjoy this springy type weather where it's kind of cool in the morning, warming up in the afternoon. We're only going to get that for another couple of weeks, if that, and then it's going to be hot and miserable all summer. But listen, month of May is here. It's a great month. You got Memorial Day coming around the corner. You got the best day in racing. I think this is the last year that we'll get Monaco and the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 all on the same day. Kentucky Derby is this weekend. My money's on Rodriguez. I think he's going to win the Kentucky Derby. I've done some horse racing studies. So there you go. There's my prediction for the Kentucky Derby, Rodriguez. Got the MLB in full swing. But listen, you know what you got to do is while you're watching all this, get your favorite type of sauce. It could be any kind of sauce you want. It could be green sauce. It could be chili sauce. It could be marinara. It could be bolognese. It could be whatever you want. It's pizza sauce. It could be whatever you want. Just stir that big old pot, warm it up, provide it for you and the whole familia. Go to town on it. But at the end of the day, from your friend Kody Marinara, as well as JYJ, we hope all of you stay saucy, friends.
We'll see y'all next week. Have a good one.